Listen to that. Hardly a sound apart from the water among the reeds over there. Welcome to Foggintor on Dartmoor. It's stunning. It's been about a 45-kilometre cycle ride from Exeter through some amazing scenery of the National Park of Dartmoor. I've pitched my tent just over there, outside of the quarry area, which is privately owned. And it's totally legal to do so. It's wild camping is permitted on Dartmoor, and it's wonderful. Especially because it's about 4:30, I think, 5 o'clock, and this is the earliest that I've pitched my tent in the last nearly 4 weeks that I've been cycling, and so it's great just to relax and enjoy this beautiful place. I stopped earlier to splash my feet into a river, one of these really old clapper bridges, as they're known, which are just huge slabs of granite across, sort of held up on pillars across the river, which actually appears in Britain's first road atlas in the 17th century, which blows my mind that there were roads and that people like me weren't cycling perhaps, but might have been walking or horse and carting across Dartmoor, I'm following in their footsteps. It was really nice just to dabble my feet, because the rains have stayed off remarkably. It was I have something against weather forecasts when doing adventures like walking or cycling. They can only set you up for a fall because you've got to prepare for all weather, right? So if the weather forecast is good and then it turns out that there's some rain, that's really annoying because you've been prepared for you're expecting good weather, you're looking forward to good weather, and you haven't got it. But if the weather forecast is really bad, then you just spend the whole day, like I have done today, in a state of slight anxiety and wanting to push on. So I'm really glad that I stopped at the river and dabbled my feet and watched some kids throwing rocks into the river and making big splashes. Yeah, pretty idyllic. And then I cycled on across Dartmoor, very, very hilly, about 1,000 meters of climbing today, and in only the 45 kilometers, but worth every drop of sweat that fell down onto my handlebars. You may have noticed that Dartmoor isn't on the coast. It wasn't in my original plan to cycle through Dartmoor. Plans changed in Exeter when I was all set up, getting ready to cycle down the estuary on the other side to where I cycled a couple of days ago, down to Dawlish and then along the coast there. And I was pretty slow leaving. I'd been hit pretty hard by the heat the day before, and I was writing up my newsletter, and which you can get at davidcharles.substack.com if you're really interested in reading more. And I met these two guys who had packed up with touring gear on their bikes, and I ran over and sort of said, hello, where are you going? And it turned out they were going in the opposite direction to me, so they were going, tracing my wheel tracks back towards Sidmouth and ultimately back to Bournemouth and beyond Dover, the places that I cycled a few weeks ago. And I was going where they'd come from. They'd actually started off in Liverpool and cycled round the whole of Wales and then North Devon, Cornwall, and now they were leaving Devon as I was arriving. And so, naturally we shared some stories and tips on wild camping, which they were doing, and they said that the night before they'd stayed right here on the glorious Dartmoor. It was a lot sunnier for them, but I'm glad that the weather's abated and my skin and my brain can recover from the thunderous sunshine that we had. So props to Will and Daryl. They were a really great team, and had a really fun time chatting to them at the Exploding Bakery Cafe just outside Exeter Central Station. I keep mentioning the Exploding Bakery Cafe because the food there was astonishingly good. I also bought a frittata, not vegan, but which I ate today when I finally summited the I think the 23rd climb of the day, and was getting a bit peckish. It was a huge piece, as big as my head. So if you're in Exeter, go to the Exploding Bakery Cafe, especially if you're cycling. And if you are cycling and you bump into Will and Daryl, say hello. Great guys. And I'm really grateful that they told me about Foggintor, and I'm looking forward to a nice camp and a quick swim. Yeah.